In the year 476 AD, the greatest empire the world had ever known collapsed. But what if it never did? What if Rome, the eternal city, was still standing today, ruling the modern world? This isn't one battle changing hands. This is 1,500 years of history rewritten. No Dark Ages, no feudal kings, maybe no America at all. And it all comes down to a single weakness Rome could never fix from the inside. If alternate history is your thing, hit subscribe. This channel lives on the timelines that never happened. Here's what actually broke Rome. It grew too big to defend. It split in two. It drowned in corruption, and it could no longer pay the very armies that protected its borders. So when the barbarians came, there was almost nothing left to stop them. But let's change one thing. Let's say Rome reforms one generation earlier. It stabilizes its currency. It secures its frontier. It fixes the succession that turned every emperor's death into a civil war. Now the empire that was supposed to die adapts, and everything downstream changes. With Rome still standing, there is no power vacuum in Europe, no collapse into 1,000 warring kingdoms. The church never becomes the single most powerful institution on the continent because the emperors never left. Latin never fractures into French, Spanish, and Italian. It stays one language, spoken from Britain to the Middle East. But here's the part almost nobody considers. The thing that keeps Rome alive is also the thing that holds the world back. An empire that never falls is an empire that never has to reinvent itself. There's no scramble for new trade routes because Rome already controls them, which means no age of exploration, no race across the Atlantic, and quite possibly no European discovery of the Americas at all. Quick one, if you're still watching, drop a like. It genuinely tells YouTube to push this to more history fans here in the States, and it takes 2 seconds. All right, because now it gets strange. Fast forward 1,000 years. In our timeline, the fall of Rome forced Europe to rebuild from nothing. And that painful rebirth eventually sparked the Renaissance, the Enlightenment, and the modern world. But a Rome that never fell never needs a rebirth. Progress doesn't explode, it creeps, century after century, under one unbroken empire. But hold on, could any empire really rule for 2,000 years? Historians are genuinely split. Some argue Rome was simply too vast to govern, that it would have shattered eventually, no matter what. Others believe a reformed Rome could have evolved into something new, a superpower that entered the modern age not with muskets and colonies, but with a single language, a single law, and a single crown. So which is it? An eternal Rome ruling a united and peaceful world, or a slower, darker timeline frozen under an empire that refused to die? The truth is unsettling. Almost everything you call the modern world, your nation, your language, your freedom, was built in the space that Rome left behind when it fell. Fill that space, and the world you know may never exist at all. That's the fascinating thing about alternate history. The timeline we live in was never guaranteed. Rome had to fall so that we could rise. If this rewired how you see history even a little, subscribe, because next week we change an even bigger moment. Share it with the one friend who still argues about Rome, and tell me in the comments, eternal empire or inevitable fall? I read every one. I'll see you in the next timeline.